Hello everyone. As you're all probably aware, Ironblood is not a carrier faction. Indeed, despite the threat that German aviation posed throughout the Second World War, Ironblood's plane lineup is dire. Their only gold fighter capable of intercepting enemy aircraft carries no ordnance, and they completely lack a gold dive bomber. Not that they have many flat tops to fly them off, with only 7 across the whole faction. But what if I told you that the Kriegsmarine were working on something big in that regard? Something potentially you are worthy. That got your attention, I bet. And just to clarify, I'm not talking about some fictional conversion of an H-class battleship, or some 70,000 ton hybrid monstrosity here, but a real planned carrier conversion. If you watched my Future UR Carriers video, you probably know what I'm talking about. The year was 1942, and the Kriegsmarine High Command had come to a conclusion. Boats with planes on them strong. Following the role air power had played in sinking Bismarck, Tirpitz's near torpedoing, as well as the raids on Taranto and Pearl Harbor, it had become clear that they needed aircraft carriers. Of course, they knew the value of air power, they had the Luftwaffe after all, but having that kind of power on tap was too valuable for the Kriegsmarine to ignore. As such, they set about a number of plans to gain naval aviation capabilities. These plans included giving hope to Graf Zeppelin, so they could later take it away again, and selecting a number of other ships for conversion into auxiliary aircraft carriers. These included the Admiral Hipper-class heavy cruiser Seidelit, who was to become Wurza, the 2 ocean liners Gneisenau and Potsdam, to become the Jade class, the Flugzeugträger II plan, attempting to convert the captured French light cruiser de Grasse, and finally, the largest of them all, Flugzeugträger I, a planned conversion of the transatlantic liner SS Europa, and the star of this video. At first glance, it's easy to compare Europa's conversion to Midway. At 44,000 tons standard displacement, and with a length of 291.5 metres, Europa is only slightly smaller than the American supercarrier. They had similar hangar sizes too. Europa's was to be a bit longer at 216 metres versus Midway's 210, but thinner in some areas and thicker in the others. However, Europa was on the slow side, only hitting 27 knots at a push due to a propulsion plant only producing 100,000 shaft horsepower. Air defence was broadly similar to the Graf Zeppelin class, with 6 twin 105mm mounted around the island, 10 twin 37mm AA guns, down from GZ's 11, and 7 to 9 quadruple 20mm guns. Not exactly a stellar loadout, but better than what most KMS ships had. Notably absent are the 150s, thank God. I understand that sometimes plans fail and a carrier needs to shoot her secondaries at other ships, but surface-only secondaries on a carrier are still dumb. Dual purpose or bust. So far she sounds pretty impressive, no? With such a large ship and hangar, her air wing must be a force to be reckoned with, right? No. This is where the problems with the ship start. Her plane capacity is frankly pathetic for a carrier her size. 42 in total, comprised of 18 Ju-87 Stuka dive bombers and 24 Bf-109 fighters. In comparison, the illustrious sisters could carry up to 57 with a deck park or 36 in just the hangar, and they weren't exactly known for their plane capacity. So what gives? Why so few planes? To be clear, this is not Europa's fault, she's got plenty of space. It's a problem with the planes themselves, or rather, the 109s. To be blunt, the Bf-109 is not a great deck aircraft. They lengthened the wings to better handle the short takeoff and landing distances of a carrier, but the wings couldn't fold like all other carrier-based aircraft. Europa's hangar may have been roomy, but aircraft are deceptively big, and every bit of space matters on a carrier. Storing planes with the wings out wastes what little space is available. Throwing an undercarriage shape that's not all that great to work with on a carrier, giving it similar problems to the Royal Navy's Seafires, and the 109Ts being outdated by this point, and Europa's air wing is struggling. What's worse is that fat bastard Hermann Göring believed that all German aviation was to belong to the Luftwaffe. and was unwilling to provide planes and pilots. So she's a formidable carrier held back by the Germans' lack of proper carrier aircraft then? Well, not quite. While Europa served as a fine base, she was still an ocean liner, not built with conversion in mind, and that made her unstable. Her hull form was not built to have the weight of a flight deck, hangar, and aircraft handling equipment so high up on the ship. Bulges were added to the design to help fix this. Meaty thighs on that one. She was also structurally weak. In order to fit her massive hangar, it had to be recessed into the main structure deck, compromising her integrity. Additionally, a ship of this size would have burned through a lot of fuel, something the Kriegsmarine had a shortage of. Just ask Tirpitz. All these problems were deemed unsolvable, and the project was scrapped before any work had been done. In the end, Europa was a bit of a mess, and telling you that might have put you off the whole "you are worthy" thing, but I think it's going to happen. Ironblood struggles for UR candidates, and this midway-sized carrier project is just sat there waiting to be used. Most of the issues can be hand-waved away in Arthur Lane as well. Hell, some of you may see the instability as a positive. It'd be a Shinano level reach to put her that high, but there is precedent for it. So let's do a little theory crafting while we're here. She'd almost certainly have light armour. As a liner, she obviously didn't have any, and the Germans made no effort to add some in their conversion plans. I can see her being kinda squishy too. No, not like that, save the horny for later. With a HP pool on the lower end, comparable to Implacable, who's currently the lowest out of the URCVs. As for how she plays, there's a couple directions they can take her. First is your standard fare. Big carrier do big smack, lots of damage with some support. Or they could lean into her small air wing and make her more support focused. She is, after all, an auxiliary carrier. Keep the standard 9-plane loadout and cross-fleet barrage, but have the rest of her kit be enabling the fleet. Buffs, debuffs, stops or slows, maybe make her Ironblood's first proper healer. There's plenty of options that would still make her a valuable pick, even if her damage was barely above the average SR. Though maybe not all at once, that might be a bit broken. A third option is to be a bit of a middle ground like Implacable. A single strong support tool paired with strong but not insane damage. Make no mistake, Europa is coming. They've been slowly working their way through all the mid-war conversion plans, and Europa is one of only 2 left. I'll let you guys fill in the blanks for how you think she should look and act. That's a little out of my wheelhouse. Hopefully when she comes, she'll bring some new planes with her, cause this ain't it. The Germans love dive bombing so much they tried to make a heavy bomber to it, so it's weird they don't have any good ones. Faisal P-22 and Arado E-310 are my suggestions. But that's enough from me. I hope you found this little look into the future interesting. I'm open to do it again, so leave some suggestions as to who you want next. And until next time, fair winds and following seas.